Consciously. Wow. Like, subscribe, share the YouTube channel, and I appreciate y'all. But let's get into this right now, man. This guy, consciously. Ooh, my first mistake was. Your first mistake is that you tried to shame people because they voted for Trump. And y'all don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to just play the video so y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about, all right?
If you look like me and you can side with the party that literally aligns themselves with the KKK because check notes, you believe they're good with the economy, you got a stimulus check, this means you are in fact a sellout and you willing to sell out the collective of your people in your community for the individual political gain or financial gain of yourself. Because if you believe that siding with the literal Confederate flag, Ku Klux Klanners in the name of the economy, it showed me that you think just like the massa. Exactly like them. If you look like me and you can side with the party that literally aligns themselves with the KKK because check notes, you believe they're good with the economy, you got a stimulus check, this means you are in fact a sellout and you willing to sell out the collective of your people in your community for the individual political gain or financial gain of yourself. Because if you believe that siding with the literal Confederate flag, Ku Klux Klanners in the name of the economy, it showed me.
Enough with this. First of all, bro, you sound like a fool. Ooh, my first mistake was. First of all, if you saying sided with the side of the Confederate, in fact, that will be you, Democrat. That will be you. That's the side of the Confederate, Democrat. KKK was the extreme part of the Democratic Party. So I like how you say side with the KKK. No, that's the side of the Democrat. So mind you, you think just like them. This shaming tactic ain't gonna work for real black people who see what's wrong with the Democratic Party. That's switching and being more conservative. Because black people was way more conservative back in the day, right? Lesson. Who was the president that freed slaves? Oh, I forgot. It was a Republican president named Abraham Lincoln. Because Democrats literally was for slavery. So, you are the sellout. You are the sellout. And number two, when people talk about the Voters Act and thing like that, what LBJ signed, and the Great Society Act that he signed, he gets credit for it. But literally, when it comes down to the Voters Act, it was overwhelmingly Republicans that voted for it. It was the Republicans who also ended slavery. Let's be honest. This is ridiculous. This is why I always tell my black people, do not get your information from TikTok. They're too woke until they're sleepwalking. Like Step Brothers movie. They're sleepwalking. Matter of fact, if you don't believe me, hear this clip if I don't believe me.
But the lasting hatreds of war had not died at Appomattox. There were those in the North who wanted to punish the South, and those in the South who wanted to punish blacks.
The Ku Klux Klan was really the terrorist wing of the Democratic Party at that time.
There is a kind of almost another civil war going on in the South. Terrorist groups are launching murder, assassination, whippings, beatings, burnings of buildings in order to undermine the governments there. What does the federal government do about this?
Thank you. And I learned that in high school, in junior high school, and elementary. So that means that I paid attention. Right? Matter of fact, what Sticky Finger said? But wait, it gets worse. Hold on. I got more. But wait, it gets worse.
It goes back to the mid-1960s as to why blacks believe they should be Democrats. In 1964, the Civil Rights Act passed. Lyndon Johnson signed it. 1965, the Voting Rights Act passed. Lyndon Johnson signed it. So he got credit for those two major pieces of legislation. But here's what they don't tell you. There was a larger percentage of Republicans in Congress in both instances that voted for it than the percentage of Democrats that voted for it.
Who enabled the civil rights legislation of 64 to pass were Senate Republicans, led by Everett Dirksen.
So once again, Conscious Lee or Conscious Man. So again, who's the sellout? The people who are voting for people who was actually for slavery, or the party that was for slavery, or for the party that was against black people getting a Voters Act, or the people who was in favor for it. Who are the actual sellout now? I'm tired of this thing too. A lot of abolitionists who was against slavery, most of them was white, who was fighting on the behalf to help free slaves. A lot of people tend to forget, during that Civil War happened, when the Union versus the Confederate, hundreds of thousands of white men died for the right to free slaves. However you cut it, now I'm not saying they all did it 100% to they probably was forced to do it. I don't care. But they still died. More white men died in that war than black men died in that war, to be perfectly honest, right? Don't believe me? Look it up. But my whole point I'm saying is that should show you that most white people was against slavery. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. And it also has some black slave owners that fought on the side of the Confederate that was for slavery. The first legal slave owner was a black man named Anthony Johnson. Another fact. But know why? No, we're gonna keep going on Consciously, right? We're gonna go on again, right? I'm gonna play his clip again. I'm gonna play Consciously clip again.
If you look like me and you can side with the party that literally aligns themselves with the KKK because check notes, you believe they're good with the economy, you got a stimulus check, this means you're in fact a sellout and you willing to sell out the collective of your people in your community for the individual political gain or financial gain of yourself. Because if you believe that siding with the literal Confederate flag, Ku Klux Klanners in the name of the economy, it showed me that you think just like the massa. Exactly like them.
Right? Thank you, Consciously, for saying some stupid-ish. Ooh, my first mistake was... Now I'm about to cook him again.
The Civil Rights Movement, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, which freed the slaves, gave black people citizenship and the right to vote, the Democrats unanimously voted against all of those rights. And when I found that out and nobody could give me a legitimate stance on how the party switched, it's like I have no other choice but to at least consider what principles does the other side have? What are they offering?
When I began to educate myself on the history of the Democratic Party, I learned a lot about Margaret Sanger.
The greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world that have disease.
And I learned about the birth of the Ku Klux Klan. And I learned about the Jim Crow South. And I learned about Black Wall Street. And All of those events had Democratic hands in them. It unraveled everything that I knew to be true. Everything that the news media taught me, everything that my own culture taught me.
What'd I say? What'd I say? Democrats brainwash and enslave not only black people now, just people in general. But it's affecting black people the most because they get little trinkets to keep them from waking up, like welfare and other types of handouts to keep them from waking up. Then Malcolm X also was fighting for our independence. Like, nah, we leave us alone. Let's have our own thing, and we good, right? Marcus Garvey, when people tend to forget about this man was one of the most influential black people in American history, a Jamaican man, Marcus Garvey, who inspired the Malcolm X and the Martin Luther Kings and the Black Panthers of the world. This man is not really even talked about in U.S. history because you know why? They don't want you to know, black men and black women, your true power. Go look up Marcus Garvey. And it's a shame because I learned about Marcus Garvey after school. As a grown man, I had to learn about Marcus Garvey, and I felt so bad because I was never taught about him in school. Had his own army, own militia, own ships. This guy was powerful, man. He would try to unite all blacks together. But with that being said, man, they enslave black people a different way. They get them little handouts, welfare, and other type of programs for them. And then say, oh yeah, the black people don't need, they need extra help because, you know, they don't have the opportunity. Just gaslighting them and lying. But behind the scenes, they're taking advantage of black people. And it's the reason why I can't stand extreme white liberals. I can't stand these people because they do the exact same thing. And that's what I'm talking about. And it keeps black people stuck and a slave to their own mentality. They become a slave to their own victim mentality, I should say. And they stuck. There was quotes of saying, well, allegedly, I'm going to use the word allegedly, that LBJ said, I'm going to have these niggas voting for the next 200 years, and he ain't lying because it worked. Be it this man right here. I'm going to play him again. You know I got to keep playing my man. You know I got to keep playing my man Conscious Lee.
If you look like me and you can side with the party that literally aligns themselves with the KKK because check notes, you believe they're good with the economy, you got a stimulus check, this means you're in fact a sellout and you willing to sell out the collective of your people in your community for the individual political gain or financial gain of yourself. Because if you believe that siding with the literal Confederate flag, Ku Klux Klanners in the name of the economy, it showed me that you think just like the masses. Exactly like them.
All right. I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you.
Pretty tough what their business is. Now, you can say that they can't discriminate, but I've got to prove that it discriminates. Now, I can't prove it in Texas. There are more niggers voting there now than white folks. There are more of them buying poll taxes now than white folks. Higher percentage of them. And I can't show that the literacy test that discriminate against because they haven't got any. They got no test at all. Just by God, anybody that can get up and pay $1.06 can vote.
Well, they say, well, the Republican Party is the party of old white men. It ain't coming off. And while we're on that subject, wasn't it the Republican Party that fought a war to free the slaves? How many many Jim Crow laws were passed by Republicans? Wasn't it the Republicans who ended Jim Crow? Then you can take it even further and say, oh, so you're a Democrat. Why are you a Democrat? You know the Democrats were the ones that were in favor of slavery. They were the ones in favor of the Confederacy. They were the ones that created Jim Crow. They are the ones that made the laws, and they are the ones that fought like hell to keep them until they found out a different way to enslave people. Instead of giving them welfare, instead of giving them slave shacks and shackles, they decided they were going to give them welfare checks and the ghetto.